Hello, hello, hello. All right, so we are live. Just making sure we're on point. Today is Monday, July 10th. I'm going to let Facebook do what it do and allow people to come on. I'm excited for today. I'm excited for this week. I got some amazing, great information out for you guys. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to I'm going to give about 30 seconds and then dive in because I got a lot of stuff I want to share and I don't want to hold back. So anybody who tunes in can watch the replay. A lot of you guys are watching the replay after the fact because I know some people are at work. So if you are tuning in, I highly recommend that you go back and catch the full replay. And really being stickler for this week. So if you want to stay on top of all the topics, be sure that you follow my page. Make sure you select the following. When you like a page, it shows you the options for the following. You can put the following for see first. So that way, you can keep updated from everything. So let me just double check that I could be heard and seen, and I can. So as of last week, I didn't go live on Friday, but I did go as far as on the show, but I did go live and share some insiders of what kind of spiritual grounding I had for last week. So, we all run on this universe by vibration. If you do and do not know that, everything around us is energy, and energy cannot be broken. Or anything like that. It continues to pass on. That's like the law of thermodynamics, right? So it can't be destroyed or anything like that. So it continues to pass on. So with that being said, it continues to be transferred from one person to the other. So, a lot of us carry that particular energy. Why am I saying this? Because there's times where we carry positive energy and some negative energy. So I'm going to go a little bit more into that. So, all right. I have no idea. I just realized that my border is not up here. Sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. But guess what? You can see me and you can hear me. All right. So for those who do and do not know me, my name is Lauren Elsie Thriver, the Thriving Entrepreneur. I am here on ThriveAbundantly TV. Today is Monday, July 10th. I am the Thriving Entrepreneur because I am always excelling for ways to continue on my entrepreneur journey, and I'm here to help you do the same. So I have a coaching program where I coach women entrepreneurs to take leaps and bounds into their business, get them to really see angles in their business where they never thought they see. So I'm like the eyes over your shoulder. I help women entrepreneurs to create wealth by building their business online without sacrificing time with their family or burnout. So that's my little spiel. But about Thrive Abundantly TV. Thrive Abundantly TV is here for all entrepreneurs, but our channel is really here to help you go, make you go, really think about your business, get you in areas. I get real on this show. So if you're super sensitive, you haven't gotten to the point where you develop tough skin in your entrepreneurship journey yet, this channel isn't for you. Channel is for people who are ready to sometimes be like, you know what, I do that. You know what, I do need to step my game up. This channel is for someone like you. So I don't hold anything back. I'm here to shake you, gut check you, really get you to think about your business in ways because you need that. I wish I had someone like me or this channel or other people who have been my mentors over the time to be able to be here. So you are at a perfect time in your life, in your business. And for those who are tuning in right now, I appreciate you. Definitely state your city and state where you're tuning in from. I really appreciate you taking out the time. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. So with that being said, the show this week is really, this week is going to talk about being a spiritful entrepreneur. What does that mean? What is a spiritful entrepreneur? You know how every time I always come and I share on this show about, you can never pour from an empty cup. You have to fill within yourself before you can pour into others. And I'm speaking specifically to entrepreneurs who have, a client, client to like a service, a first person service business, as far as if they deal with clients, like they are actually on the hands where they have to work and be with their clients, whether they have like a customer service type of program, a coaching program. I'm speaking, what's wrong with my speech today? I'm speaking specifically for you, because you have to really uplift yourself to go and pour into others to uplift them. Remember, I talked about energy, and remember how I talked about how it transfers. If you're lacking that energy within yourself, you don't really pour into others. And if they have a low vibration or low energy, they're going to seek that back into yourself. And then you're just kind of passing around really low vibration, not dead, because like I said, energy can't be destroyed, but you're really at a point where, you're not transferring and vibrating high amongst each other. So what do you do in this situation? You vibrate high yourself. You feel into yourself. You do not need other people or other sources to help you to thrive. You don't need, you can use them for motivation, but the real ignition, it really happens within yourself. So your mindset. So I've always done lives where I talked about, the direct mentals, so it is good to, read and do these things. But once you make the decision yourself to really absorb and take in that energy to apply an action, then it can be ignited. Then you have raised your vibration. Okay. So every morning, I definitely take out a lot of the time to really take time into myself. I start very early in the morning. I have clients, because I run a training program, where I work with, in a fitness facility. I'm also a fitness trainer. So I work with clients very early in the morning, and then later in the evening. And then in the middle of the day, this is when I run ThriveAbundantly business with my team. So I have to start so early. That means I need to take out a little bit of extra time to pour into myself. One of the things is, a lot of people say, "Oh, I got to wake up so early, I don't have time." We have to make the time. I sometimes am very tired, or things like that. That's probably why sometimes you guys catch me stumbling over my words. I'm a little sleepy. But um, you have to really dedicate this time to pour into yourself. There's been times I have cut out clients to take the time out to work on me, to use this time for me. I used to train a lot early in the morning, all throughout the day, scattered in the evening. And then I was losing my sanity. Now, granted, I understand we have to do what we have to do to pay the bills, but make sure you're not over exceeding yourself, that you, like I said, you're continually pouring from an empty space. Okay. So when I talk about being spirit full, please understand, it's about your spiritual being, yourself, your higher source, your higher self. You hear people say the God within you, whatever your, beliefs are. This isn't a religious aspect, because this can relate to anyone, no matter what religion, or even if you do have a religion or not. Okay. Because at the end of the day, like I said, everything, when we talk about law of thermodynamics and energy and science, there's a science to this. Not to get too deep, there's a science to it way beyond past of any kind of religious beliefs. Okay. A religious belief for me, for what I see, is just really a vehicle, or, fellowship within, to kind of work and learn these laws and the science behind things. Okay. So what I'm saying is, to be a spiritful entrepreneur, in order to succeed, you must be spiritful. You have to pour within yourself, really thrive. When I talk about thrive, I'm not just talking about, oh, I hustle. I'm not just talking about, I grind, because, when you just grind and grind, you're not going to reap the rewards of being full and whole. What do I mean by being full and whole? There's times, and I've been one of these people. This is when you have a burnout. And one of my mentors has said this, when you grind, over and over and everything, and you don't, reap the rewards of everything, you're just burnt out, right? So the rewards are things to help you fill yourself back up. Certain things that help you ground yourself. Everybody has different techniques on how to ground yourself. So when I went to the workshop, it was about a 6-hour workshop. It was amazing, amazing, amazing. They did it's called a love tour. You can look it up by Victoria. I don't know her last name. I'm sure if you look up Love Tour by Victoria, you may can find it. But they were here in New York on Friday, and I went to the workshop, and it was really amazing. And one of the things that really stood out, and it was great to be in a group setting in the form of meditation, because I'm usually by myself. If I am ever in a group, it's usually like in yoga class, but there's no discussion behind it. Nothing is spoke about. So with the group, I found, everyone spoke on different, the facilitator asked and spoke on different ways to ground yourself. There's no right or wrong way on how to meditate per se. There's no wrong or right way of how to ground yourself. Now there could be ways to make it more effective or things like that. But I found in this group setting, that everyone ground themselves in different ways. And what do I mean by grounding? Really, like standing at a space where other things don't quite affect you. You still remaining in a space where you function, and the other things that are going on outside of the world, or when you're dealing with, your day-to-day activities, clients, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't shake you or get you off. I like to say I remain unshakable, right? So this is where, I always quote Jay-Z, shake the unshakable, right? So how you could do that is where you come to a space where you're grounded, you're whole. And that's why I named and called the Spiritful Entrepreneur. Okay. So how do you become a spiritual entrepreneur? I'm going to talk about that this week. I have a special guest coming on Wednesday to kind of, really open up some amazing areas with that and her expertise. So definitely tune in on Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern time here on this channel. And I'm very, very excited for her to come on. She's going to share some great goodies with us. But I'm going to continue to talk about, ways on how to become spiritful. And there's times where we do get shaped. And how do you get yourself back into that order? So one of the things I want to talk about today, and I'll continue on this conversation throughout the week, about being a spirit-full entrepreneur. One of the things of what is a spiritual entrepreneur, a spirit-full, I said spiritual, spirit-full entrepreneur is spiritual, regardless of, any religious backgrounds or anything like that. And for those who do hone on to, any kind of religious backgrounds, they are grounded as well if they're applying the principles. So a spirit-full entrepreneur is spiritual, okay, if that's particularly making sense. So in order to be spiritual, you have particular practices, constant practices. We do have a spirit, and in order to fill it, we have to consistently fuel it. Okay. So how do we do that, Lauren? What is it? How do we consistently fuel our spirit to be spirit full, right? Because in order to do this, and when you are doing this, this is how you become that thriving entrepreneur. This is how things start to become, really in the ways of how it was designed for you, right? This is how you begin to thrive. This is how you can attract, for those who understand and know law of attraction. In order to reap the rewards of law of attraction, you have to really, really work on within yourself. I shared an affirmation today. I know I share affirmations every day. And, if you always need great affirmations, definitely tune into my page on Facebook, which is CEO LC Thriver. I share it on my Instagram as well, LC Thriver. So, the affirmation for today is, I am spiritually grounded. You have to really put yourself at a space where, you say it and use it with conviction. Whether you have it yet, this is something that you particularly claim. This is something that you particularly want, right? So, like I said, everybody has their ways, but people who, really become full spiritually is, they pray, they meditate, they read, they fellowship. Okay. A lot of the times, in order to be full, a lot of times you have those, and I understand being like an introvert or things like that, but if you're keeping everything and putting it within yourself and not paying it forward once you filled your cup and you're not helping on to fill other people's cup, this is why fellowship is really important, because remember at the beginning of the show, I talked about energy and how it's transferred, right? It's never broken or destroyed. It's transferred. Once you fill yourself, your spirit, then you can pass on and pay it forward to others. Why do you think you have those who become like motivational speakers, preachers, pastors, coaches and mentors, teachers, all kind of sorts of where they can pay it for and pass on to the other. You have to fill your cup, fill your spirit in order to be a spiritful entrepreneur. One of the things I read, I have a morning reading every day. There's a few practices that I do. When I have my very, very early morning client, I don't be able to do in full how I want to, because I like to cut out about 30 to 45 minutes. If I woke up a little too late, I definitely take out the 10 minutes. And what I do is I have a scripture read that I read. It's a book that I have called God's Moments for Women. So I read a page of that, do my self-reflection, and then, before I wake up, I have water. Fill your body, thrive, so your body can thrive and absorb everything that you're doing for the day, right? Then I do deep breathing exercises. Everybody has different techniques. I used to do guided meditation audio so I can kind of calm myself, but I've become a lot better and a lot more of a spirit-full entrepreneur that I can kind of sound my mind a lot better. Before I was just all over the place. But sometimes, depending where life takes its course and things happen, I may need to listen to a guided meditation audio, right? And what is guided meditation? You can look it up on YouTube. There's just sound music to help quiet your mind, or it may have like an audio to help guide you into the positive thinking mechanisms and to calm your mind, to really help, ground yourself and speak within yourself. Okay. And then, I'll have my prayer. I do my affirmations and my reading, and I like to read 10 pages every day. So I have two readings that I do. One, I shared this before. It's the Master Key System. Is more like a workbook, so you study it, and it's by Charles Haanel, Haanel. You can pick anything that you particularly read. One of the books that I want to get back into is The Power of Now, which is a really, really good book. And I read it for some time, but I'm a lot more spiritually grounded than I was, so I can take in more. So I always revisit books. One of the books I just finished revisiting and reading was The Four Agreements. And, some of these books are always good to keep on. Whenever you get shake, remember to remain unshakable. Sometimes you do get shake, life shakes you, and you kind of need to go back in, right? So The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I think I know it's Don Miguel. That book is a really, really good book, something to keep on hand. It's very short, and it really talks about 4 agreements that you have within yourself. He has another book called The 5 Agreements that I want to get into, but you pick and choose where you do. The Bible is really good. A lot of these books that are pretty much broken down comes from the good book, but they may break it down in a different perspective about how we live life today, more in modern terms and things like that. So I have like a scripture thing that pulls up on my app that I read on the train mostly, but just giving you guys like a good idea of what you need to use. You choose yourself, try different things and find what really grounds you. That's what it's about. What really gets you in a space where you feel full, where, your spirit feels full. You'll know because it really starts to open up your mind into different ways, if that's okay. So what is a spiritful entrepreneur? One that fills their spirit. So, a spiritful entrepreneur is spiritual. Number 2, a spiritful entrepreneur is grounded. They take the time to work on self and internal spiritual growth and healing. So that's where I talked about as far as number 1 is kind of a carryover as far as being spiritual. Number 3, a spiritful entrepreneur is humble. They don't get shaken up too much. And I've learned over time, this comes with age, but not all, because I've known some really grown people that are not humble. So when you really do start working on yourself, you start to really humble yourself. Life circumstances humble you as well. And never look at, the headaches, the havocs in your life as such a bad thing. These are things that are coming towards you that you may have attracted into your life. That's growing you to be more spiritful because it's humbling you. Prime example, I've been in spaces where, I might have had a lot of havoc come into my life, lost a lot of things that was somewhat in my control, but beyond my control as well. Money situations start to kind of grab you. Being in a financial situation, that's exactly one of the reasons why I started implementing financial education in my coaching program, because it's what filled me. Like I said, you got to fill yourself to fill onto others and pay it forward. So I would have never been able to be even here if I never went through what some will call, failures or life havocs or chaos or whatever, because it humbled me to make me become more spiritful, if that's making sense. So I became more spiritful from my life journey and experiences that causes for me to be more humble. So a spiritful entrepreneur is humble. Number 4, a spiritful entrepreneur has a clear and conscious. They are a clear and conscious thinker. Okay, like I said, this is kind of going in order, because if you're spiritual, you're grounded, you're humble, you start to have a more clear and conscious thinking pattern. Because in order to get more spiritual, in order to get more grounded, in order to start humbling yourself, you have to take the time to really look within yourself, become more conscious, really work on these particular areas, and then it starts to allow you to be more clear and conscientious of what your actions are. Okay? So a spiritual entrepreneur is indeed a clear and conscious thinker. What else is a spiritful entrepreneur? They are amazing problem solvers. When you have a clear and conscious mind and you're humbled and you're grounded, when problems come to you, like I said, shake the unshakable, they don't shake you too much. It's a lot easier to really tackle any kind of particular problems or hurdles that get in your way. And if things kind of happen, you know how to calm yourself down. That's why it's important. And that was one of the reasons where I went to the meditation workshop. When things kind of get a little chaotic and I find myself not grounded or, handling things a little bit easier, solving my problems a little bit easier, what do? I look within myself. I'm like, okay, it's time to get a little more grounded. I'm not connected. You get what I'm saying? I'm not connected to the divine power of God to be able to help me through these things. A lot of your issues and everything is something that you're making in your head, and the way to solve it is really finding that true power within yourself. Okay? So I hope this is making sense. Number 6, I have 7 for you guys today, and then I'm wrapping up because I like to finish close towards the top of the hour. So number 6 is a spiritful entrepreneur is organized. Organized. Like I said, when you move better, you're more humble, you're thinking more clear, you can start organizing your life a lot better. You become really good at, I'm speaking for entrepreneurs' sake, because you may have some who's very spiritual, very grounded, but may be a little off and not organized if they're not particularly like an entrepreneur where they have to work their business. Okay, so a spiritful entrepreneur is organized. They take the time to look over things. And then number 7, a great spiritual entrepreneur is a great delegator. In order to get organized, in order to, have a lot more clear and conscious thinking, as I said, and to be a great problem solver, is to understand that you can't do it all by yourself. So they are great delegators by, building their tribe, building their team. I talked about, power moves, 10 power moves of an entrepreneur. 2 of what I shared today was on that list, as far as being an amazing problem solver, and then also being able to build your team. So being a great delegator. Okay. So you need to know when to take something that you may not be may have as an advantage, or it's your strong suit, or you're particularly good at, or whatever. It may take more time for you to do. Don't want to say it's your weakness, because if you are spiritual and you're a powerful person, and and you're just an entrepreneur, period, I don't like to even associate weakness to anything. You know what I mean? So it's just one of your areas that you need growth on, or you need to delegate to. So there's two areas where what people would say, what's your weakness? It's either it's a task or something I need to delegate, that I just need to kind of pass the hat on to someone else, because we're not meant to wear many hats, okay? Or it's an area where I have room for improvement. So you can decide if it's something that where you personally need to work on, because it's your job, your task, where you have authority to practice and do. Then if that's a room for improvement. If it's something that you're not skillful in, or you could, but it takes a lot of time, and it doesn't advocate something that you do, or align with something that, basically, I always say, as entrepreneurs, you need to focus on any tasks that are income producing activities, right? If it doesn't align with that and what you do, then you need to delegate. Okay, so if it's something where you taking up whatever, like I said, I'm repeating it, but if it takes up too much time or anything for you to learn or do, then it's time to go ahead and delegate it over. You'll actually save a lot of times. I understand, as a beginning entrepreneur, when you don't have money, you really want to kind of do it yourself, just to save money, and it's something that you can do or whatever. But if it's taking up more time, once you learn how much you are worth per hour, you won't waste your time too much. Like, I don't really like to waste a lot of my time talking to people, because if I'm talking to people that is not going to help them grow, help me grow, or it's something to help within my business, or it's not an income producing activity, either I'm writing them an invoice, or we got to cut this conversation short, because I got things to do. When you start working like that, then you'll understand. You get what I'm saying? When you start getting in a place like that, then you know when to delegate something over. Okay. Oh, let me recap for those who are just tuning in, and we're wrapping up. I talked about specific things on, really grounding yourself. Like I said, Monday was about my self-healing, my, me to ground myself. And now I'm like ready and on fire to come this week for all this amazing topic I'm coming with you guys with. And like I said, on Wednesday, I have a special guest coming on to really help you to, emerge. Like I said, this channel is all about, paying for it, getting you to fill your cup, getting you to be spirit full as an entrepreneur. Okay. So when I talk about spirit full, I said, what is a spirit full entrepreneur? Number one, a spirit full entrepreneur is a spiritual being. Okay. Spiritual. Number two is they are grounded by taking out the time to work on self and internal spiritual growth and healing. Any areas that affect them in this area needs to work on, because you won't be able to be full. You have to fill your spiritual cup. Okay. Number three, a spiritual entrepreneur is humble. Number four, a spiritual entrepreneur is a clear and conscious thinker. Number five is an amazing problem solver. Number six is organized. And number seven, a great delegator. I hope you wrote those notes down. If not, catch the replay. And tomorrow, tune in at 12:30. I'm going to continue on this conversation about being a spiritful entrepreneur, and really kind of go in and dive in a little bit more on some of the mechanics that I learned about a meditation workshop. Like I said, I never take anything and keep it selfish and locked in within myself. I'm going to, pay it forward and share with you guys. So if you are at a space where you are, becoming more awakened spiritually, and you really want to, grow yourself, because this is going to help you. I'm telling you for sure, this is going to help you be able to move forward in your business, in your life. Okay. This is what I really focus on when I'm coaching my clients, is because if we are empty spiritually, we're going to be empty everywhere else in our lives, including your business. And as an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs don't quit. Entrepreneurs thrive. That's what this channel is about. That's why I'm the Thriving Entrepreneur. So I'm going to talk to you more about that tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you share this. If you enjoyed any kind of material I shared on the show, please share this with others where they can become spiritful. And I see you guys tomorrow, 12:30. You guys, where's my little, I gotta have my thing. Is it right here? Here. Okay. So, definitely tune in. I love you guys. I want you guys to continue to thrive and be spiritful. And I see y'all spiritual beings tomorrow at 12:30.